Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about chapter 449 of Fairy Tail, but first I just want to address something. In the last video in the comments, a couple people actually recommended that I read Fairy Tail Zero, which is a spin-off, or not really a spin-off because it's canon, but a manga that Hiro Mashima did on the side for the past year, which tells the backstory of Mavis and how Fairy Tail got created. Now, people recommended I read this because they said that it may tie into the next chapter, which it did, because in this chapter, the first couple of pages actually summarize what happened in Fairy Tail Zero. So if you're at all interested in what was summarized in the first couple of pages and want to see how Fairy Tail came to be and how Mavis met up with all these guys, then you should read Fairy Tail Zero. It's only 13 chapters long and it's pretty awesome. But the important information that we learned from Fairy Tail Zero is that Zeref taught Mavis black magic. When they were trying to take Magnolia back from a dark guild, they met up with Zeref and Mavis said, listen, we need to kick these guys out, teach us magic. And he teaches her black magic, which she uses eventually to save Yuri, Makarov's father, from turning into this big evil dragon thing. And because she used the black magic, she can no longer age and is stuck the way she is. Now in this chapter, we obviously didn't get the whole backstory that Mashima is trying to tell us right now, just because it'll probably take a couple chapters for us to get to everything. And I'm also fully expecting for the big reveal of what Fairy Heart Lumen Histoire is by the end of this backstory. So most of this chapter deals with Mavis and Zeref's reunion, which happens 10 years after their first one. Kinda shocked it wasn't 7 years though. Anyway, so some wars have been going on for the past couple years, and Mavis has been working as a tactician. She's a very, very good strategist, and Fairy Tail has been winning a lot of wars, but she is kind of upset just because of how many people have died during these wars. So one day she's in the woods and she sees Zeref again after 10 years. Now this is when he reveals to her that he is Zeref, because she never knew who he actually was before. And now Mavis knew who Zeref was. He was that wizard that lived for hundreds of years and did all those terrible things, killed everyone. And she's like, no, there's no way you're him. And she also mentions that she used the black magic, which is why she doesn't age. And now this is when Zeref reveals to her that she has the same curse as Zeref has, which, as you know, is the curse that friggin' kills everybody. And he tells her the reason a lot of people around her haven't really been dying is because of the way that she values human life. But he says your views on those things start to change with all the wars going on, and soon she will be left alone and everyone around her will be gone. Which, of course, she doesn't like, so she runs off crying, refusing to believe any of this. So I definitely don't think the backstory is going to stop there. I have a feeling that it's going to keep going for a while until Fairy Heart becomes a thing, until Mavis dies or whatever and becomes Fairy Heart, because like I said before, this is one of the only big mysteries left in the story, and I think it's going to be a pretty crazy reveal to find out how she gets into that giant crystal thing. Now here's another thing we don't know, which I feel may be connected to Mavis's curse. So at the end of Fairy Tail Zero, we actually get a timeline of the major events that have happened in Fairy Tail, like who the masters were and who died and all that stuff. Anyway, we find out that Yuri Dreyer, Makarov's father, dies in the year 700. Now the thing now this is of course 4 years after Mavis and Zeref's reunion, which we saw in this chapter, and it's curious because Yuri isn't that old, so it seems very unlikely that he would just drop dead of old age. We already know what happens to the other founders of Fairy Tail, but yeah, I'm just really curious to see how this guy actually died. I don't even know if Makarov knows, because he would have been a toddler when that happens. He might not even remember his dad. So yeah, it seems like we're going to get a lot of interesting backstory in the next couple of chapters, a lot of big plot reveals. Hopefully it's not too sad, because a Fairy Tail has it's had some real heartbreaking moments in the past. So those are my thoughts on this week's chapter of Fairy Tail, and next week I will be giving you guys my review for the 450th chapter of Fairy Tail.